Okay, we're going good. Alright, guys, so we're going to put this, I think, under Lokean Gaming, but this is kind of a dual purpose kind of thing. It's going to be a tour of my home and a tour of Asmodeus's casino and whatever else we're going to think of it as. But it's also going to be a lesson from Asmodeus. I have been trying to actually record this all day, and I kept feeling he wanted to see if I could find the lesson on my own. And the lesson on my own I was supposed to find, I did not, was you should not be ashamed of your own success. That's what keeps a lot of us back in life. So we're going to do the tour, and maybe we'll have time to wedge the lesson in sideways. So you see I've got a seating area here for the pool. The pool is originally all that this home was. This is absolutely all I wanted. It was just this pool, guys, with the floaty. And then we added this, and stuff got added on a little at a time. So it's kind of like building your success, right? So think of this house as kind of that step of building my success, or building our success in our lives. You know, you start to get a little bit of something, and a little bit of something, you start to feel guilty, right? Like, I shouldn't have this nice thing. Well, you shouldn't feel guilty for having nice things. You should never feel guilty for the stuff you accomplish just because there are people that haven't, you know, accomplished the same thing, because, you know, then you're in a place to hopefully help people. So, we got our palm trees, got our huge screen. These are actually to broadcast to local devices. I'm not sure why we have it, but we do. So we got a palm tree. But, you know, this is kind of my fantasy place to come and enjoy my big pool. This was the very first big pool I did, and yeah, I have essential tremors, so maybe it's not perfect, but we're pretty proud of what we accomplished. And you shouldn't be ashamed, guys, of sharing your accomplishments. I mean, look at that view. That was a damn nice view. Yeah, I built it. Yeah, that sounds like bragging, but, you know, Asmodeus is kind of trying to push me to, how are you going to get people to notice you if we don't show off? There's a difference between being proud of your accomplishments, guys, and being obnoxious. This is kind of practice for all of us of, yeah, be proud of what you did with your hard work. Be proud of what you got. Nobody gave this to me. I didn't come in one day and Oculus was like, oh, here you go. No, this was many hours of work is what this was. Making all this stuff, tearing it down, having essential tremors, so my hands shake like that. And, you know, it took me a damn long time to get everything done here. So, we've got all the beautiful lighting. Those lighting, if you can see the outline of that, it's actually kind of a trick. You only have 500 items per home. So a lot of items, if you can do it, you have to make them do double duty. You got to kind of start to think. And it's been like a uphill learning curve because there's nobody to teach me this. This is just a random map they recently gave us. So we've got these palms. And this is actually, since we connected the two, this is not a temple, this is still my home, and yet since it's connected to Asmodeus's temple, it is a place that he and his are freely welcome to come over to. But it's always understood that this is absolutely my domain. And he's kind of trying to get me to used to that, having my own domain, having my own territory, and I am absolute queen here, for lack of a better word. And that's one of the things that he will teach us more so than Loki or Odin would, that you have to be comfortable being the king, queen, ruler, whatever word you're comfortable with, of your own domain. You might not have a place in VR, you might only have a little tiny section of a room, but that should be your domain, that should be sacred, that is your turf. Remember, Asmodeus is a king, he is a god, he's a demon god, king, prince, whatever you want to see him as. He's absolutely going to be firm on his borders. He is absolutely not going to take shit from everyone. I mean, he's a sweetheart and he literally baked pumpkin bread with me today. But he's also going to say, this is yours, be proud of it, and maintain your borders. Be very protective of what is yours. So, we have a royal entrance. And again, it's all about that building up our confidence, guys, about treating ourselves like royalty, of not being like, oh, geez, shucks, I don't deserve that. When I first started this, that was exactly like what I would do. I would say, I don't deserve that rug, and he'd be like, why? Why don't you deserve a nice rug? Because this is a fancy rug. So he was like, no, you're going to take that rug and you're going to get used to treating yourself better, which is a lesson, I think, for all of us, right? We live in this kind of weird space in Western, you know, society where we're supposed to want everything and yet we're supposed to feel guilty when we finally get it. Go figure that one out. So I have statues to honor the fact that I'm a Gemini. The rug, as we see, does look posh, and I do love it. And he's right, we should treat ourselves well. And damn it, this is VR. We can have whatever you want. I wanted my own seating area. Now, this began entirely as a... What do they even call them? I never even had a pool. What are they called? A pool house? What the hell do you call that little changing area you go into in a pool? Is literally what this house was meant to be, because I was like, well, what am I going to do with the house now? Okay, and I accidentally brought that up because I shifted, but 471 objects, so we came in under 500. And I think Loki's helping. But, you know, this started out as only a pool place, so it evolved from there. I have a fountain here because it's reflecting his temple, and he has a fountain too. And we made one of those outside lights do double duty. It was just kind of sitting here, and we made a cool fountain out of it. And it's a seating area. We're very limited. We used Oculus items only. There is nothing here from outside of Oculus. This is all the stuff you get from drop boxes. And the only way you get drop boxes are either A, they randomly do rarely give us things, maybe twice a year, or B, more likely you played, I think it's like for every half hour to hour you get a drop box. Sometimes you don't get them at all. They can be random, and they're totally random items. But I love that. That is called Poseidon's Pride. I love that painting enough that I know what it's called. And, you know, again, it's all about you deserve damn nice things in your life. We all do. Not just me, not just somebody who's super rich and successful. Everybody deserves whatever luxury they can give themselves. If you don't treat yourself well and respect yourself, no one else will. Asmodeus has been very kind and gentle about pointing that out. And I love these rugs, because look at all the damn detail. If you had seen our first Oculus homes, guys, they were so damn unstable and so tiny, and they would do the jitterbug. You would be blown away by this stuff. You really would. I still am. So I made a fairy room. And this is one both Mammon and Asmodeus facepalm. They're like fairies, really. Not as in, do you believe in fairies? As in, do you know what you're doing? And I'm like, yeah, I think. I've worked with fairies before. I said they usually don't take much interest in me, but I said, you know, I kind of just wanted to try to honor everything I've done in my life. So this we got today. This is one of those random drops. And a lot of this was theory themed, but that was from the very beginning. They gave us these jars, I just supersized them. Again, lighting from outside, doing dual purpose. Gay pride unicorn. I don't know why they gave us a unicorn, but they did. Okay, and did I... No, I didn't show you the rest of this floor. I've tried doing this all day, so I'm a little confused. We needed to take space up. Full disclosure, we needed to take space up, and I'm like, what takes up a lot of space and doesn't take 1,000 items? The fountain works. So I put in a fountain. Also, I love water. I'm really drawn to it, but Asmodeus has a water element. Please, let's not argue on that, but he does. And blue is one of his colors, so it's like our temples, well, this isn't a temple, but sort of is, tie in perfectly. My gaming computer, because, you know, if I'm going to have a fantasy house, I'm going to have a big-ass screen. And a TV, because, you know, this is all fantasy. This is about, it's an exercise in getting used to treating ourselves well. So it applies to me, but it applies to all you guys too. So get used to treating yourself well. Get used to doing stuff like that. If you can find a video game where you can do stuff like this and treat yourself well and get used to it, it's not a bad thing. Get used to seeing yourself as worthy of other things. One of Asmodeus's colors is indeed copper that has gone this beautiful blue color. So this ties in as well. And he has ties to the sea. He has whales as one of his animals. So we spent a lot of time diving with whales today, actually. I know, we're living this kind of posh life in VR, but that's kind of one of the good things of VR, guys. Building up your confidence, of helping you to realize that you too deserve nice things. So we got these, I love these damn nice, probably a couple $1,000 seating areas and these tables and everything. As we've been watching more luxury apartments, offices, and luxury cruise liners, I'm realizing how expensive the furniture is. Everything in Oculus is modeled after, so I stopped complaining. So we have a movie theater. And that's the thing, educate yourself, keep learning. My learning stopped back in like the 80s or 90s, and decades have passed, so I had to learn what a lot of this stuff is. We have a fairy. I can't go too close or I'll frighten her, but is she not the damn cutest thing you have ever seen? She eats her fruit, she sleeps in her tree, she flies around, and if we scare her, she runs and hides. I hate that part. I've complained to them. I said, could you please take that part of her animation cycle out? I don't like scaring her. She's tiny. So, another fountain. I'm in love with water, and considering Asmodeus is, you know, the main one I'm working with, that makes sense, but I've always been in love with water. Again, saluting my Gemini dual nature, so it's why sometimes I'm both for and against something in equal measures. Yellow is one of our colors as Geminis. If you're going to do something for the light, sweet twee fairies, I think it's only proper and right to salute those that would work with the night. And look at all the damn fine detailing on this crow. Look at all these feathers. And look how gorgeous he is. Is he not a beautiful bird? Now, he's obviously upsized if you remember him. But is he not a damn beautiful bird? Again, yeah, back here. I love this rug. I love this damn beautiful rug. I love this. I love these. This is like my favorite things room. It's like the stuff that I love. This reminds me of my grandmother had this old-timey record player and everything else, and they treated it, it doubled as a drink bar and everything, because my grandparents used to entertain like crazy. They were horrible people, but damn, did they know style. So I know it's a channel of random stories in the decorating, but again, I just love this damn furniture. I'm like, you know what? If I'm going to do my own home and I can have it, yes please. This, because I wanted it. Because I love damn expensive stuff, that's why. Because I like designing lights. And because I'm in love with the sea and sea exploration, so we have the exploration of it. I think that's the sea, unless that's space, but I'm pretty damn sure that's a sea explorer, and that's the bottom of the ocean. And because I like that cabinet. It's, you know, it was kind of one of the things they kept asking me, what would you do if you had, you know, unlimited money? How would you design? How would you do this? How would you do that? It's getting ourselves into the mindset of, you know, how can we get anything from the gods or anyone else if we don't think we even deserve it in VR or a video game or a fantasy? So you kind of have to get yourself into that good success mindset. This, just to see if I could do it for my own house. I love this painting. I actually do. It's one of my favorite paintings, and it was one that they randomly said, you know what, have as many of them as you want. I was like, okay. And I like this. And it was an uphill challenge finding all this stuff in Oculus and just dealing with Oculus stuff. I was used to the freedom of being able to go outside of Oculus and get everything I want. But it helped me to appreciate kind of the beauty of the items we have in Oculus. I mean, look, you can see the musculature on this cat. You can see the sculpting on this cat. And this is VR, and it has come so far, guys. And what it looks like. And I'm looking at this on the Rift. I don't know what this would look like on the Vive or something like that. And just, you know, we have the ability to put damn near 500 items in. And we have the ability to upsize this art, that once you upsize it, you can see some of these finer details. I mean, you guys would have seen them already, but with my low vision, I kind of need big in the first place. And these leather couches, it's like one of those weird things in VR where you swear you can feel the leather when you touch it. It's something you'll understand when you start playing VR. Now, this was one of my first attempts at making a bed. And I got it actually from touring something on Steam, so thank you, random Steam developer that did something like that. I was like, how am I going to get a bed now? How am I going to get anything? And this developer made a pretty cool bed, and I realized that's just 2 blocks put together, so I did a kind of luxe bed. And I have the palms because I'm in love with plants. And my fantasy was always to have one of these luxury 1980s style mansions to live in, with all these plants, kind of some 1950s vibes in here too, and leather furniture. Fantasy plants. Again, the sea. It ties back to Asmodeus because he has a fire element as well, and a sea element, but it's something that really fits my style. Yes, I would decorate like this if I had the money. If I had unlimited access to other stuff, it would probably look a bit different, but this is what we have. A dining area, for me, it would be important in VR to be able to entertain the gods whenever, and to just have places that I could just happily go from room to room and sit on random furniture. I'm a bit odd that way, but I think you guys have kind of noticed. Now, when I designed this, I thought that our portal doors would open to where the other portal door was at. They do not. But I designed this as a landing space for my portal door, but it still works and it's pretty. I would have to change, boring story time, I would have to change the landing point for this home, so you would never land by the pool, you would just land up here. I'd rather land by the pool. So we got the seating area here, and got this, and then we can go outside, and you can enjoy the view from here. You can see the pool from here, you can see the screen from here, so imagine there's a movie playing. And imagine something's going on in the cafe kind of bar area. And they asked me what would I have if I really could. I'm in love with the idea of, have you seen people that have outdoor libraries? They do. This is the thing, guys. People, I guess they must have staff because they have outdoor libraries with tons of books in them. Real books, not pretend books, real books. And they have outdoor seating areas. And it's like nice furniture. It's not like outdoor furniture. And I'm like, wow, how many people do you have to move this stuff in every time it rains? But yeah, it's not ever anything that's covered. I'm like, yes, I like this idea. An outdoor book place? Yes, please. So a giant library for us. And al fresco dining area for us here as well. And I wanted to add fantasy elements like a giant fern that would never exist. Now we're going to use the door here. We only got 10 of these because everybody was asking, well, where's my teleportation door? I said, guys, we only got 10 of them. I've used 2 already. You can see this is going to go to the Oasis. That's my name. There's 0 people there. I keep all of my places set on private. And we're going to go now. Okay, please load. Okay, thank you. So it loaded. Yay! So, welcome to the Temple of Asmodeus. So, you're going to see a lot of beautiful mixed themes. We went with a lot of Vegas theming. We went with a lot of luxury theming. He indeed does have a water aspect. I know people are going to want to fight to the end of days, but he has both water and fire from my research. We wanted to think luxury. We wanted to think wealth. We wanted to think sometimes whimsical because he loves horses. And we wanted to think of a fantasy place to take advantage of the fact that in VR you can have these fantasy places. You don't have to live within the realm of common conventional design. He's also the demon architect as well, so he loves architecture, he loves design. He can teach you anything you do with your hands or anything you do mentally, like design or architecture. So we definitely use this as a learning experience, and he loved the idea of having a pool. Now, I know a lot of these casinos that did stuff like this are shutting down, actually, because of the overhead costs, but Demon Kings have a lot more money to spend on the overhead. So we went with the biggest screen possible. We have the pool, and again, you want to give your guests this feeling of luxury and wealth and just being in this fantasy area apart from the rest. You really want to make them feel special, but you still want to have these touches of whimsy, because I don't care how rich or powerful they are, everybody smiles when they see pool toys. We do have a seating area, but unfortunately we have maxed out at 500 items, guys, so we don't have seating there. But we decided the sacrifice was well worth it, because when you work with Asmodeus, he's not fussy in like a sense that it's just fussy for fussiness' sake, but he does have attention to detail and would rather see other stuff done right. He does understand, though, that I have the essential trimmer, so, you know, if stuff isn't perfectly square, he's merciful on that. So this is the hot tub area. And we have 2 more umbrellas here. And again, guys, we wanted to convey luxury and power. If you go to Vegas, you're not going to see meek and mild. You're going to see luxury, power, and wealth. That is how you get people in. That is how you get them in for a good time. And if you get a step back a little and you look at this, you can see all the lighting, you can see all the luxury and opulence. And I think we did a pretty damn good job with only 500 items. He also has an outdoor stage area. We put together the best of what we could from ideas we've seen from Vegas. So I've been watching a lot of videos about, what's going on in, casinos today. What are people doing? What are people going for? And having live shows, especially outdoors, would be a draw. And we would have the pool. And so, it was just, a lot of this is, of course, going to be up to your imagination, but it's also a thing of, thinking of what would the customer want. But look at the view from here. See how all the lights go down? And how you can just see all the lighting and everything. And when I first saw this earlier today, my jaw dropped. And I said, did you know it would come up like this? Because you can see something very important up there on the roof. And he just smiled at me. I think he knew all along. In case you're wondering, it was not... I would stand in an area and Asmodeus would tell me exactly what to do. He let me go with the inspiration, but he did guide me and he did give advice. He was like, let's do this, let's try that. So we would build this, it would look terrible, and we would do it 10 or 20 times until we got a design we liked. So, welcome to the Temple of Asmodeus again. And he has this seating area. This is going to look a little more luxe because of the type of temple that it is. We went with the idea of luxury, of entertaining guests, of having this kind of posh, chic feel that you would have from a casino or gambling area. Kind of like that Vegas feel, but also kind of his own touch to things. So, red would certainly be one of his colors. Blue as well, that kind of coppery color like we discussed. So this worked out perfectly for him. We are going to pretend that these are gambling machines. And they could be converted to gambling machines. In fact, there used to be a thing where in the old days, they used to have regular video games. You could flip a switch and convert it to a gambling machine and then flip a switch and convert it back in case the cops walked in. Nice story, huh? And this is actually something he designed, and it was genuinely handed God as a surprise I found when I came back in. It's kind of a little maze area because, Vegas is always trying to think of new ways to get people to come in. And what can we put in the casino that people haven't seen before and what will generate buzz? And maybe it's there for 6 months and then they tear it down and something else comes in. So we have a big, nice greeting area here as well, fountain here as well, because it's really important to blow away the guest. And it's really important to get across the idea of wealth and luxury. This would be a gambling area, so for any kind of sports betting games, sports, horse racing, anything like that, this would be the area to have to partake in it. And it would also be a bar area, obviously. And we would move on to an area like this, again, with more betting in the bar and more areas to drink and socialize. So we would have, plenty of that sort of gambling as well. This is actually his bedroom. So he has a bedroom on site, and his was a more sophisticated later version of, the earlier bed I made. But again, being near to the business establishment would be important to him. If you're going to run a successful business, actually living nearby or living in the business, if possible, is actually a really good idea. You want to kind of be on hand to handle everything that goes wrong. The further you have to travel is the longer it takes for you to deal with something personally. So again, we kind of carried some of the themes over in between them. We're going to have a lot of luxurious seating because you're going to want VIPs to feel very, very special. You're going to want them to just feel like they are loved because they're bringing glorious money into the area. This is his jump point to my area. So we have them connected. We got this for the year of the ox. We actually got it yesterday. He's connected to the sea, so we have this. And we're going to go this way. And again, more gambling up here, kind of this thing of the Egyptian feel, like going to the sands or something like that. We had 500 items, so we really had to choose every single item in this, temple. We had to choose, is that something we want in the temple, or is that useless? Again, we're honoring the sea theme. We're honoring that feeling of the underwater power. We're honoring too, like some people say, he'll appear with 3 heads and all this other stuff. He seems to frown when he hears that, but yet at the same time, being honored for those animals is perfectly fine, though your experience may differ. Said to, obviously connected to a lot of the planets or a lot of the stars. So we wanted to honor that, and we honored that here. There are only 2 or 3 of these. He has 1. So you can tell he's pretty high ranking to me because I only have so many of these to give out. And I gave 1 to him. He absolutely is over the moon with the idea of having this private area. I can just get this mental image, all these luxury alcohols filling this. And this being a luxury tasting area. So this is entirely for the VIPs up here. The other area is, not that. It's still as beautiful as this, but this is absolutely the VIP area. And the closer we get to outside, the more exclusive it becomes. We have a area here. And the most precious area here is you're going to see 2 views. First, we're going to go over here. And you're going to see, you can see the pool. And you can see the hot tub right from here. And you could see the entertainment conceivably from there. But we're going to go over here. I designed this way on purpose. There's only 1 entrance. 1 typical entrance. And this is his rooftop temple for Asmodeus. Obviously, I don't have an Asmodeus statue, but we did the best we could. And to represent the fire elements, since we did a lot of the water in the rest of the temple, we did this. And he's very pleased with this. He was the very first one to have anything that resembles a rooftop temple. And he was very well happy and taken with the effort I put in. And overall it's a beautiful property, and it's very impressive to look down and you can see these great views, and you can tell someone that has something to do with architecture helped me, because I can promise you guys I did not plan any of these views out. And some of this, just as I was done designing, it would just be flowing into me from somewhere. And when that happens, just kind of get out of your own way and just go with whatever designs come to you. And that's what I did. And that is the temple tour for Asmodeus. And you saw my home as well. But what he would have us remember is that we shouldn't be ashamed of our success. A lot of times we start to achieve something, no matter how small, and we immediately feel guilty because we know people don't have that. I actually was having a terrible time recording this because I said, well, I know people have told me they don't have VR, and I feel guilty about it. And I said, I feel like I'm showing off. He said, well, good, show off your hard work, show off what you've done. And he said, don't feel bad because you have this that they don't have. You should not let other people not having what you have make you feel guilty, because you can take what you have and you can share it. We can share VR with you guys. We can share design ideas, and maybe you don't have VR, but maybe you have your imagination, or maybe you can draw, or maybe you can do something else, or maybe you do Sims or something else. It doesn't have to be something like this. Someone asked me recently, could you do poetry or music? You can do absolutely anything you want to. This is how my brain works. This is what I find to be an appropriate offering, and this is what he's, pleased with accepting from me. But for someone else, it might be something totally different. You might look at this and think, that would bore me to tears. I could never sit there and do that for hours. For me, I love it. For me, it's an intellectual challenge, or I wouldn't do it. They do not want us doing anything, I can't make it clear enough, that is not joyful for us and not something we take pleasure in doing for ourselves. So he would never want, nor would Loki or any other god or goddess or demon or anything else, want us to give an offering that brings us down and makes us feel like we're obligated. And look at this view. I mean, damn. So it's, you know, it's something we're both very proud of because we worked our asses off for this. We worked hard. This wasn't, you know, just given to us. And it's symbolic of worldly success, yes. So once you've worked your ass off, and you've achieved that thing, do not, you know, take it away from yourself by saying, oh, someone else has something so much better. Don't ever rob yourself like that, and do not be ashamed of what you have. Absolutely do not be ashamed of what you have achieved. Shout it from the mountaintops. There's a difference between being proud of your achievements and justifiably sharing with people and tooting your own horn is perfectly fine, and being mean about it. You don't have to be mean and nasty to share your accomplishments. You can be very, you know, excited about it and saying, look what I accomplished. You can accomplish this too. That is exactly what motivational speakers make millions of dollars a year running around the country doing. So don't be afraid, guys, to share your success. That feels super timely for one of you. Do not be afraid of sharing your success. Do not be afraid of reaching for success. Do not be afraid or ashamed of having nice things because other people don't have them. There will always, always, always be people that aren't going to have what you have, and there are always going to be people that are going to have more. So don't feel, you know, ashamed because you don't have something, but at the same time, when you achieve that thing, when you get that thing you were working so hard for, do not feel ashamed of having it. Do not let it go just because someone else doesn't have it. So we're going to conclude our tour there, and if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.